All right, hey there, my friend, Adam Erhart here, and good to see all of your happy, beautiful, smiling faces again this fine Thursday morning, afternoon, or whenever you're tuning in to watch this. I got some good things to share with you today. Went ahead and put together a bit of a mini training as well as we wait for some questions to roll in, of which we will, of course, get to. But I wanted to walk you through just some thoughts that I was having this morning over agency building and the fastest path to cash and what's actually important. And it ended up spinning off into this sort of massive brainstorming session. Let me see if I can even share some of it now. We're going to go through all of these here, but I've got this to share. I've got stuff on some of the best services that we're seeing perform really well right now, as well as some general guidelines on starting and scaling your agency and what to do when and in what order, and what to do if you're just getting started, and a whole bunch of other things, as well as some goodies and some resources and all kinds of other things that I'm going to try to remember to drop in and around. But with all that said, we'll get to that in a second. First, Katrina, good to see you. Oh, hang on. Let me move that. There we go. Good to see you. Glad you could make it here. Clark, let's hit your question first. Then we're going to hit some training. Then we're going to come back to questions. Regarding MIA. So for those that are unfamiliar with the term MIA, it stands for Massive Imperfect Action. And it is one of the core principles and beliefs that not only we teach inside the program, but also that sort of live my life by. Really, the cause of most agency failure is inaction. That's really it. So the more that we can do and the faster that we can do it, and the thought of letting perfectionism go and just taking action, that's really the absolute secret to success. So in your opinion, what is the standard line? A camera going in and out of focus or grammar that's questionable? Yeah, good question. Speaking of a camera going in and out of focus, I thought you were talking about this one. I set it up on autofocus, and sometimes it's like it grabs the mic, then it grabs my face, then back to the mic. What is the minimum standard? That's a really good question, dude. I think my biggest thing is that you're taking action. So the fact that you went and did anything, like say you record a video and the camera's in and out of focus, or you fudge a few lines and flub them up and need to redo it or whatever. The fact that you took action like gets the check mark. Now the product that we end up with, say it's a camera that's just in and out of focus, if it's too distracting and it's not usable, that's fine. We'll just do it again. Maybe we'll set it to manual focus next time so it doesn't happen. As far as grammar that's questionable, that's fine. We can, people are normally willing to sort of accept some of that as long as you don't beat yourself up too bad about it. If it comes to video production quality, then you and I both know it's like the audio matters more than the actual video. So a camera in and out of focus, maybe we can just throw a couple pieces of B-roll over it or do something like that. If the audio is super muffled or far away, then we probably just have to redo it. But as far as taking action, I mean, honestly, that's where most people fail, is that they'll think about it and they'll be like, well, I need to do this, but I don't know how, and I don't know where to start, and I shouldn't create this or post this or whatever it is. And they're dead before they even get going. So the fact that you've made anything and then posted it, good enough for me. If you look back at my first YouTube video, actually, we're just looking at this last night. Fun timing. Because I got an email from YouTube congratulating me on, I can't remember, it was like 8 or 9 years now, I think, of doing it. I didn't do much the first year or so. Then the second year I started taking it a little more seriously. But if you look at like the first video or the first few videos, they're out of focus. And the audio only comes out of one side. I may have fixed it back then, but I don't think I did. And it's just because I couldn't figure out how to use a camera. So I just left them up, and the rest is history. So yeah, you can always improve later. To me, the big thing is actually getting things done and doing them, because that's where we evolve and adapt. All right, let's walk through some of this stuff real quick. If you got questions as you come, by the way, feel free to drop them in the chat box. This shouldn't take more than like 10 minutes, and then we'll go from there. So I was looking back at my career, and this thought of 6 months to 6 figures agency plan sort of kept coming into my head. So I went back and I looked at like when I first started my agency and how long it took me to get to quote unquote 6 figures. So it was like 10K a month, basically. I know it's just a little bit less, like 8,800, but we'll say 10K for easy math. And it was about 6 months. I think it might've been just shy of that. And there was this thought I had of like, should we talk about 6 months to 6 figures, 7 years to 7 figures? Where's the appeal? Where's the draw? And I think 6 months to six figures is really solid, because the fact is, if you can get an agency from 0 to six figures in 6 months, which again, your mileage may vary and your work experience and your work ethic and all of that. But I did it, and I didn't know what marketing was when I first started. My work ethic was probably there because I was super motivated to make it work, but like I had no idea what to do. So, I mean, I hate to say it, like if I can do it, anyone can do it, but I kind of feel strongly that way. So what do? Number 1, nail your niche. Super important. If you've got an agency and you're stuck at 1, 2, maybe 3 clients, and you're unable to scale, or maybe you've got 5, 10, 15 clients, but you're unable to scale past that, it's like 9 times out of 10, it's a niche thing. And it doesn't mean that you chose the wrong niche, which is rarely the case. It's normally that you chose too many of the right niches or niches, whatever you want to say. So if you're doing like roofing and plumbing and HVAC and landscaping and coaches and consultants and lawyers, and you've got someone over there and someone over there, that's a disaster. It's overwhelming. It's exhausting. It's basically impossible to scale. It's impossible to get replicable results that you're able to copy and paste over from one campaign to another. You've got to focus and you've got to cut down. Every smart mentor in my life told me that in the early days. Every single one. The biggest one, I think, that kind of chewed me out the most for it was, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with a gentleman by the name of Sam Ovens. He's the one that owns School before Hormozy bought into it. And Sam told me back forever ago, he's like, dude, you're doing way too many things. You've got to pick one and focus in on it. And I ignored him for like months. And then finally I focused and like everything took off. So we've got to pick one. Next, we need an irresistible offer. This is where sort of that hybrid agency view comes into play, is that when we pick our niche first, we're then able to figure out what their pains and problems and fears and frustrations are. And then we can go about designing the perfect offer for them. And we can position it in a way that makes it look like a true no-brainer for them. On the other hand, if we start with an offer, like I'm going to do Facebook ads or anything like that, and then we try to just like shoehorn it into a different niche, things get ugly really quick because they may not need it. They may not want it. They may not value it. They may not understand it, which is more often the case. So we've got to pick that. Now the hybrid comes in from a couple different things, which leads us to waterfall pricing. Because, and this sort of stems into building out your packages for what you're going to offer clients. But it's my view that we should have 2 or 3 packages. I just realized I totally don't have enough space here. We're going to just like jam this all in. So 2 or 3 packages. In marketing, we call these productized services. We don't want to be doing custom one-off work because it does not pay very well. It does not scale. I shouldn't say it doesn't pay well. It doesn't pay well from a scalable fashion. So you might get a huge influx of cash one month and then nothing the next. And what we're looking for is sustainability, predictability, consistency. That's how we build true profit producing, passive income building businesses. So 2 or 3 packages. I like one of them positioned right in the middle, the main thing that you want to do. I don't mind having one that is a very high priced offer. We can use this for price anchoring, so we can say it first and then everything else looks less expensive. Also, 20% of your market is naturally going to want to choose the more expensive option, so we can sort of capitalize on serving them to the best. And then where waterfall pricing comes in is if none of those work, we can still sell them a lower tier offer that is like a DIY approach. So this is where you'll hear a lot of people talking about SaaS, software. A lot of people white label high level. I really just give them high level. I say, hey, it's high level. Go get it yourself. Here's a link to get it. Sign up under my affiliate and you'll get some bonuses and snapshots and cheat sheets and things like that. But this allows us to sort of recoup the sale. And then also they stay in our world so that inevitably when they want help with it later, they'll come to you in order to then upsell them into the future things. All right, next, Magic Pill. Magic Pill is about combining. We're gonna see if we can do this. Miseries is the red. Oh, let's do it this way so it's easier to get. Miseries and miracles. That's the blue part and the red part of the pill. Your Magic Pill offer needs to address their miseries and their miracles, and needs to put you and your business and your agency as the bridge that helps them cross that gap. So their pardon me, recording videos all morning and I'm like totally hoarse. Their miseries are all of their fears and pains and problems and frustrations, all the things they're trying to get away from. Their miracles are all of their goals and dreams and wants and desires and everything they're trying to get to. And your job, the job of your Magic Pill, is to position you and your business and your agency as the thing that's going to get them that way. Of course, there's nuance and details to all of that, but that's it. Like, we get a niche, we put together our packages that are designed to solve the problems of our niche, we present it in a way that looks appealing and sounds appealing because it solves their problems, their bleeding neck issues that they're experiencing right now. Then we start doing outreach. We start putting this in front of our ideal target market in as many of them as possible, as rapidly as possible. This is where, actually, Clark, good question here. This is where MIA comes into play probably more than anything else. There we go. That's easier to see. This is where MIA comes in more than anything else. It's like doing this kind of outreach here. That's it. This is where most people get stuck. In fact, if you look at your friends and colleagues inside the Agency Accelerator, the ones that are making the most money the fastest are doing the most outreach. That's it. Like, obviously we make sure that they're in the right niche, they have the right offer, they've got all that. But like all of these things the same, right? Which we obviously make sure that everybody's in alignment there. All of that the same, the single biggest deciding factor is outreach and the volume of it. That's it. Like we could basically stop the video there. We can do better though. So what do we do? Well, we call it the rule of 100. I think that's too conservative. I like the rule of 300, kind of minimum. And we do this outreach via DMs, direct messages on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, if you can get through to them. We do email and we do calling if we have to as well. So DMs, it's like 0 to 5K agency. Then I'm going to put 0 as well, because I kind of like this. 0 to 50K, and then basically whatever for calling. So what does this mean? If you're just getting started with doing outreach, sending direct messages is free. That's it. I'm going to show you, by the way, an email. I just sent out a campaign in August, like a test campaign to try to get some numbers back to show everyone what's possible and what you can do. And the results are in now. So it's been running for a few weeks. I think we launched it August 8th. So just a few weeks, totally hands off. I just programmed it, hit send, it went out. We'll talk about that in a second. But obviously you need an email service for that, cold email service. You need a couple domains. It's not expensive. It does cost a few bucks. DMs, totally free. Email, of course, this is my favorite way to scale. Doing cold email outreach, when you crack the code to that one, it's like a money printing machine because the costs are so low, the results are so high, everyone has email. Calling, cold calling, if you're the kind of person that can do it or can find the system for it, it's a phenomenally valuable tool. Right now, we've got Evan in the program is crushing cold calling, and so is Kyle. Taylor's doing really well as well. If you want to reach out to those guys, they're putting on trainings inside of it all the time, and they talk about their strategies and use. We have the script that we use that's phenomenal as well. All of those work. Okay, here's the campaign, just for giggles. So this here is the screenshot from Instantly, and I just went and grabbed it right before hopping on the call. So I put in 1,051 leads to it. We got 19 replies, most of which were autoresponder messages saying I'm away for vacation, which is an important note as well. If you're going to be sending campaigns in August or July, December, any of the holidays, like you can safely expect you're going to get a lot of people saying, hey, I'm away right now. Contact me later. So we will contact them later and put them back in the response. But that was most of them. That said, we got 4 positive replies. From that, we booked 2 calls, and from the calls, we closed 1 client at $2,500, which means that for 1,000 leads, which I can't remember what we spent on the leads, and the software is like, say, $100. What did we even spend for those leads? It wasn't much. It was like, I'm going to say $40 conservatively. So let's say we're all in for like $200, which is like a 10x ROI and a completely passive system. This is the email that got most of the, Nate, yeah, you're doing here too, buddy. Right on. Yes, Nate's crushing the cold calling. We'll talk more of that. I think you're talking to Dave as well about some ads and things. So we'll circle back. But this is the email. I want you to look at it, and I want you to look at how basic and I don't want to call it awful. I'm going to close my window. My kids found out they stay out of the office. We built a separate office here on the property, but they like ride their Power Wheels all around because school's not in yet. So one sec. Before they crash, like Grand Theft Auto out there. I want you to look at just how basic this thing is, right? Simplicity. So we've got this subject line, which is probably my favorite subject line of all time for most people, most of the time. It's like first name, quick question. We use this as the most basic form of personalization ever. This is my other favorite form of personalization because it requires basically no research on your part. Like if you want to go out and start putting in these parameters and doing research into your leads, it's valuable, but it can often take a lot of time. And I'd rather you be spending that time sending more outreach rather than diving deeper. The exception is if you're dealing with a TAM, it's called a total addressable market of like, I don't know, let's say 5,000 people or less. Like you're in some super niche B2B business and your TAM is like 5,000 people, then you can do tons of research into each person because we're going to want to capitalize that more. But otherwise, like if you're looking at normal businesses, there's like 29 million small businesses across the US alone. So there's lots of people. So anyway, city, love what you're doing with company name, another very easy personalization. This is like the most generic, arguably awful compliment ever. Like, I love what you're doing. Worked. Like these ones did okay as well, but not as well as that top one. Curious, you're looking for more sales on your calendar without relying on referrals. Again, you could send this to basically any kind of niche, and it just worked. So steal it by all means. Go ahead, just take that one directly. All right, let's talk about services. We'll talk about some other things that we can do as well. There's a couple services that we're seeing right now that are doing well, more so than others. So like the classic services that most people think of when they talk about like doing a marketing agency are, let's call them expert and software services. I'm going to divide them. So expert and then software services, software as a service, SaaS. So expert services would be things like Facebook ads, SEO. Actually, those are probably the big ones. Maybe Google ads. I call them expert services because you do need some level of training or skill to do them. You don't have to be an expert, but like you kind of got to know how to do it or it's just not going to work out very well. You can learn it. I'm living proof of that. SaaS services, on the other hand, you need, this is going to sound bad, but like you need no training and no skills because the software does all of the heavy lifting for us. So these are things like missed call text back. If someone calls your clients and they don't answer, we can text them back. Reputation management, chat widgets, AI employees are huge right now. Actually, this is a big one. AI employees, which is a combination of like missed call text back and following up with things like that. But another one, I'm going to put this under SaaS, is Google Business Profile, GBP, optimization. And we do it through two ways. We do it through SEO and we do it through reviews, because the more reviews that a page has, you can see these like yellow star guys there, the more of those they get, the higher it's going to rank. So that's reviews. SEO is largely just a game of citations, which is nerdy marketer talk for backlinks. Pardon my writing. Backlinks. And typically, backlinks that contain these three things: name, address, phone number, NAP. You build more backlinks, you get more reviews, you rank higher. That's it. Like, mic drop. Now you're charging 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, $5,000. Like, you can charge a lot of money because these positions get all the clicks. That's it. Like, it's an incredibly valuable service, and it's very easy to do because we automate pretty much all of it with software. All right, moving on. I'm excited about that one though. We can talk more about it later if you want. Next thing that we're seeing work really well, not just as a service, but as like a tripwire offer to get people into the agency, is offering templated websites. So I've got a screenshot here just inside high level, and I clicked on website, new, show some templates, and you can see there's a ton of categories, right? So it's like automotive, beauty and fashion, business coaching, creative, all of these have templates. And then all you really have to do is find one that you think would work well. Like, what's one that would be a decent, is there a decent local business? Not on this one. Thrive Business Coaching, Life Coaching. I don't know, Life Coaching. So then what you do is you sell this life coaching website to a client, or you give it away for free. More on that in a second. You swap out her with like a new person. You maybe update a little bit of the copy to make it their name. You change a few things up here, which you can do automatically actually by having them fill out a form, and then it just automatically fills the text. And then you can host it on your site, on your under your account. Now, why is that powerful? It's powerful because now they've got arguably a high converting page, especially if we spend just a little bit of time prepping it ahead of time, and then we can give them templates. We can charge anywhere from like $150 to $200 a month on the low end to just have them use the website, use all of the features with it, and then you just get a nice, easy passive income. Or you can, so that's option one, we'll say option two. You can give it to them for free, and then as part of a larger package. So basically, now what you can do is you can reach out to clients and you can say, hey, would you like a free website? Would you like this thing? Would you like that thing? Would you like this other thing? We can give you this. We can give you that. They say, yes, I would like a free website. That is a no-brainer offer. Then you have a couple options. Well, you can give them the website and let them use it for 3 months, 6 months for totally free. This isn't a bait and switch. Keep that in mind. We don't want to be like, actually, it's $100 a month. If that's the case, then you write them and you say, hey, would you like a website for $100? High converting. And they'll still say yes. Still. In fact, in many ways, I'd split test both of those offers because often free seems a little too good to be true. Whereas like, hey, you want a website for like $100? Still sounds too good, but here's why and here's how we do it, etc. And then we can upsell it. All of this is like a 20-minute job to do, to copy and paste a few things over. An hour, maybe, on your first one, like getting it all set up. Google Business Profile optimization, like minimum $1,000 a month to offer to a business. And the amount of work this takes is negligible. Like, again, maybe an hour setup, and then you're going to maintain it and monitor it and make sure all of the citations and backlinks and everything's going well and the rankings are improving and going up. But like, that's it. That's how I built these passive income agencies, is off the back of services like this, like SEO. There we go. Different web. Ads are not so passive unless you've got someone that's actually managing it. Rep management, let's say rep, any kind of SaaS thing like missed call text back and customer reactivation campaigns, anything automated, calls, all of those are what allow you to build a completely passive income empire. Okay, let's stop it there. Let's hit some questions. If you've got any on this, let me know. We can pull this screen back up. Maybe I'll leave it hovered on here. That looks insane. If somebody just tunes in now and they're going to see that, they'll be like, what is happening in this room? But let's get into it. All right. Pranav, can we close clients from the USA from India? And the real problem is many people think it's a scam because the agency is from India. What to do about it? Yes, you can 100% close clients from USA from India. You have a number of different options, one of which is case studies, proof, getting some kind of track record, systems proof, working for free for a couple clients in order to basically show that you're legit, and then using other authority boosting signals. So start building up your social media platform, start creating content, start showing that you're legit. The other thing is you can get virtual offices in the States. So you can get a mailbox. You can even get a fully registered business for like $1,000, I think, in Delaware. Don't hold me to that one. I'm not a lawyer. And then now you've got a American address and you're an American business. So yes, you do have options. Katrina, can small town businesses be a niche focused, i.e. small town florist, barber? Yes, they can. In fact, there's two different ways to sort of niche down. The way that we typically look at it is this way. Like, I said, nail your niche. Basically like dentists, chiropractors, lawyers, pet services, things like that. This is simply because we have a larger TAM, total addressable market, that we can go after. That said, if you're in a smaller town, let's say, I mean, if you're in a town of like 2,000 people, it's going to be a stretch. But if you're in a town of like 100,000 people, then you could just become the local marketing expert for that town. You'll have to charge a little bit less, arguably, because they won't have quite the same budget. But I've done that and it worked out well. You can get 20 clients at $1,000 each, and now you got a $20K a month agency, and they're typically good, hardworking people, of which I've never done florists, barbers, yes. But I've done like so many other things: farm and feed stores, construction repair equipment, lawnmower rentals, like all kinds of small town business things that they just want more business. And if you can be the one to set them up with like Google ads or, and basically these, actually, I'd focus here, probably Google Business Profile stuff. Actually, that leads me to another thing. If we talk about this, the Google trifecta, that's where most small businesses should be focusing their efforts. So the Google trifecta is basically ad here. Then it's like, these are going to be pins, by the way. Oh, that looks like a pin. There we go. Map, and then organic. That's the Google trifecta. So on the Google search page, if someone's looking for like a florist near me, there's going to be ads that show up at the top of the page. We can get those with Google Ads. There's going to be local map Google Business Profile listings. We can get that with citations and SEO like we talked about. And there's going to be organic rankings lower down the page, which we can do with just good old-fashioned SEO, on page, off page, all that other good fun stuff. Which means if someone searches for like a florist near me or a barber near me or a dentist near me or whatever it is, your client can effectively show up in 3 different places on that page, of which their search traffic just spikes and website traffic spikes and the business grows. It's a thing of beauty. So yes to all of that. All right. Samuel, new to Agency Accelerator. Thank you. Hey, it's great to have you. Great to have you here, my friend. When you finally were able to start identifying good niches, what were the best indicators of green flags for high ticket clients with a bleeding neck? Ooh, that's a good question. So we've got a list of them. But let's dive into more of the details because, like, as you know, inside the program, we outline, like, here's a list of the top 7-figure niches that you might want to take a look at. Here's the criteria that we have. Like, we need to have at least 30 to 50,000 of them, and they need to have this and this and this. If I was looking for something that green flag, high ticket, bleeding neck, I'd be looking for search-based. So in other words, is someone going to Google in order to look this up? So bad example, like what would be something I wouldn't want would be like a product business. Like a fancy new pair of sunglasses that I don't even know exists, right? Like that's hard. I've done that before. It's hard. Easy is like 24-hour emergency plumber. Very easy. I'll just write some of these down. Want to know why? Because someone that needs that, they're just going to Google and they're typing in 24-hour emergency plumber. In fact, let's stick with this example for a second. The beauty of something like this is if we come up here, we can actually talk to our clients then, and we can be like, look, if someone's typing that in, they're going to click either an ad or find a map or an organic. They're going to call you. And if you don't answer, they're going to the next person. So we're going to set up missed call text back. We're going to use an AI employee to automatically follow up with that person so that you get the sale. Fantastically powerful thing to do. So 24-hour emergency plumber. What else do people search for? Everything, right? Like funeral homes are actually one of my favorites because it's rare that people just like ask around for a funeral home. I don't know. Maybe if you have an older demographic, maybe it's a topic of conversation. Pet care, like doggy daycares, I really like. But basically anything like chiropractors, dentists, roofers, plumbers, trades, HVAC, auto detailing, car wash, things like that. So those are good. High ticket clients, then again, yeah, you're going to have to filter them through. So like high ticket, funeral homes more so than doggy daycares. They're so expensive. Who am I kidding? We just went and picked up our dog back after a trip and it was like thousands of dollars for them to look after this guy. That dog costs a fortune. So things like that. We can dive into it more though, if you got more on that one. Nate, yeah, cold calling script is good. Awesome. Yes, I'm a big fan of that one. We've refined that one after I don't even know how many cold calls I've made over my career. Started calling today, got a booking on the 4th call. That's not normal, but that's good and phenomenal. Good for you. That's wicked. Yeah, we don't normally get that kind of close rate on calls. So keep at it. Don't be a little bit discouraged if like the next 10 or 20 tell you to just go away and come back another time. But dude, that's wicked. Loving the program. I'm loving having you in it. It's good to have you in there. Thank you, buddy. Clark, negotiation question. I never lower my pricing just because a prospect asked me to. If I do lower pricing, always take something away. Do you agree with this strategy? Yes. 100%. Always. In fact, that's normally my negotiation tactic that I'll use. I'll be like, I don't know, let's try this out. We have package 1, 2, and 3, right? There we go. And this has things like 1, 2, 3. I should have probably used letters. Actually, hang on. Let's get rid of some of those. 1 and 2. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the things. And this one's, I don't know, we'll say like 1,000. And this is 2,500. And this is 5K. So these are our packages. Typically what I'll do as well is like when I'm presenting these to a client, oh, that was horrible writing. If anybody gets this, we can read through that. I'll start with this one and I'll use it as the price anchor. So I'll be like, all right, well, based on what you've told me, are you cool if I walk you through some of the options available? And they'll say, yeah, go ahead. I'll say, right on. So at the top, I don't think this is right for you, but just want to bring it up to you anyway. As our top package is $5,000 a month. We have all these things. Like I said, maybe I'm missing something. I'm not sure that's the best fit for you, but it's figured I would just let you know about it anyways. Then what we have is we have package 2. This one I think is going to be a good fit. It has all these things, and that's $2,500 a month. How does that sound? And then they'll say yes, no, something else. And if they balk at it or they want something else, then I'll proceed to package number 1 if I have to. Basically this is the waterfall pricing where that comes in, and that's probably some kind of like SaaS or DIY or like something to recover the sale. Now, if they're like, hey, package 2 sounds amazing, but $2,500 is just way too steep for me. Like we've got a budget. So I'll be like, okay, well, what kind of budget are you working for? And as long as they don't lowball, like I have $7, I'm like, we might not be able to help. But if they're like, look, I've got $2,000, I'll be like, no problem at all. We can probably make that work. What we'll do is why don't we take out step 5 here? Because that one's should allow us to still get all of this, but without that. And then they'll be like, well, I actually really like 5. And you're like, no problem. We can add it back. Then it's $2,500. And you got to say it with a straight face, but like that's the dance. Essentially, I try to imagine that I'm selling products more than services. So it's like you wouldn't go to like a grocery store and be like, well, I'd like 2 boxes of Cheerios, but I only want to pay for 1. And be like, no problem, you can have 1, but you'll just pay for 1, and it's $5. And if you want the other, it's another $5. And there you go. So it's very much like that. And then it almost comes down to keeping a straight face and then like holding composure and understand that yes, they're probably just negotiating, and that's fine. Some people think it's part of business and some people find it fun. Personally, I don't, but that's okay. To each their own. But yeah, I love that strategy. I think it's phenomenal. All right, Katrina, screenshot that later. Yeah, no sweat. You can come on back. Hopefully the replay stays up. You can screenshot it. I'm not sure it'll make sense to you maybe. I don't think to anybody else if you show them, because that's a messy looking thing there. All right, Tyler, do you provide SOP frameworks and system to manage client projects and services in the Accelerator group? Yes. Yes, we do have onboarding, and then we've got all the documents in order to sign them and bring them on. We have trainings on the workflows that we use, but I'm also a really big fan of making your own. So I show you the one that we've built out so you can look at that and use it and steal it and copy it and do everything that you want to. My preference though is that like you build out your own SOPs that are going to be unique to you and keep them pretty fluid in the early days. And the reason is things are going to change. 100% things are going to change. You're going to change the kind of people that you work with, hopefully not your niche, but like the level that they're at. You're going to change the offers that you use based on feedback from the market. You're going to change the services that you provide based on feedback from the market, what you enjoy. You're going to change your price. You're going to change so many things. Who you work with, if you outsource, if you do this yourself. So spending just this silly amount of time making SOPs is often a silly amount of time because we just have to go back and like redo it again and again. That said, it is important to have systems and structure so nothing falls through the cracks. All right, Esteban, what if clients need us to make sales calls for them? How would you provide that service for them? Personally, I wouldn't, but that's me. You're free to do that. We've had people that have done it as well. I just don't find that it is a scalable or profitable service to offer. That's really it, I think. Otherwise, by all means, go for it. If you're going to be doing that, like we would have to triple our prices because, yeah, that's it. But you can do it. All right, Pranav. Yeah, I actually tried working for them for free for a short time, but they are kind of racist. That's not good. But I'm not blaming them. Can understand them because nobody wants to lose hard-earned money on a scam. Yeah, I mean, don't work with racist people. And as far as stuff like that, yeah, I don't know. Try again. Try to find someone better. If you end up with like bad clients, they do exist. And in the early days, unfortunately, you sometimes have to kiss a lot of frogs to find the princess or prince or whatever you're looking for. So yeah, that sucks that you ended up in that situation, but I think keep trying. Keep going out there. All right, my friends, we're out of questions. So I covered all the training. I got everything. I'm going to give you another minute or two if anything else comes back up. And otherwise, we'll sign this bad boy off. And I'll send you back here to rewatch this as you like. If you'd like any more explanation or updates on it, let me know. I'm happy to dive into a few more details. I'm going to grab some water because I am parched. I should do product placement, branding. All right, Rob. Hey, just joined the program, validated my niche. Great to have you, Rob. What are some low barrier to entry but high success services to offer? Oh, yeah. Here we go. I don't remember when we first talked about this, but like, this be the answer, my friend. Low barrier to entry, high success services. Basically anything kind of like SaaS related that you can do with a special service attached to it. So like a little more customer service rather than DIY approach is going to be good. This one is where I would start you with though, probably. I really strongly believe in that one. Yeah, start with that one. Otherwise, yeah, there's other trainings on there that can also help, but like, yeah, you can't really go wrong with that or with this one. I talked more about this though earlier. So if you just happen to tune in now, catch the replay for the rewind. All right, I got to scroll back up now. Clark, is that a PRS behind me? It is. Good eye. So most people that don't know would think it's a Fender, right? Because it kind of looks like a Strat, but maybe you can see the birds. I don't know. Maybe if I like zoom way out. The birds. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of PRSs. I only have a few, but I like them. They're probably my favorite guitar to play. Syed from India, want to start a marketing agency, confused. Can you give me a roadmap to start making real money? What do I do? How do I have GHL access for 30 days? Well, the GHL access is easy. So I've got a link that I can drop in for you that has that extended free trial. That one there. As far as what to do to start making money in 30 days, I have so many videos on this. It's insane. So I'm going to send you to go do some watching and some research. If you type in, actually on this channel, on the main channel, Adam Erhart, start marketing agency, you're going to find like a dozen or more. There's even an entire playlist on the main channel. So that will help you. Okay. Hey, Thanos, good to see ya. Hey, Adam, whether it is low ticket price or high one, how would you close the sale? So both ways for me are kind of the same. The big difference between, I guess, low ticket and high ticket is the funnel that appears before it. So let's do this here. Let's go back to colors. First of all, these are kind of subjective numbers, and it really depends on the industry that you're in and all of that. But like in general, low ticket, sub $2,000, high ticket, above $2,000. Okay. So why do I use these numbers to describe low ticket and high ticket? And it largely has to do with the funnel and the process that appears before the sale is even asked for. So with low ticket, we can sell it from a sales page. I'll just put sales page. We can sell it from a webinar. We can sell it from direct to post, like a social media post, especially if it's like a really low ticket offer, like $27. All of those things. We can sell it via sales call, but you probably don't want to. High ticket above 2,000, we pretty much always sell it via sales call. Pretty much always. There are programs out there that claim that they will help you close sales without sales calls. And sure, we've done that before and it can work, but like your close percentage is going to be so low, it won't even make sense. Like for most cases, most of the time. I've taken the programs, we've done it ourselves. The original launch of the Agency Accelerator, what ended up happening is when we first launched it, I did all the sales calls because I wanted to talk to everybody and figure out pains, problems, fears, frustrations. What are you going through? What are you looking to do? Very quickly, I became completely overwhelmed. So my calendar was just full of sales calls and I wasn't able to do any marketing. So then I switched it just to a button. Hey, join here. We watched basically the close rate go down, obviously, because we removed a sales call. So then we brought in our team to start taking calls for us, and then everything went back up. Why do we need a sales call? Trust, proof. Is it a scam? Are these people real? I have questions. Like, there's only so much information you can provide on a sales page. And also, when you talk with a real human, you can bring up all of your I don't want to say just like objections, but like questions and thoughts and ideas. And it's more beneficial for both the buyer and the seller to have that conversation. So the way that I like to think of a sales call is more like a service call. So when I'm going into it, if I'm doing it myself or if anyone's doing it, my goal is not to sell. Weird, right? Like that's not my goal. My goal is to help my prospect make the best decision for them. Full stop. If the best decision for them is to walk away and not buy, I just tell them, I was like, I don't think this is for you. And then they can try to convince me if they really think it is, but otherwise we'll just be like, all right, cool. Yeah. Thank you. Talk to you later. On the other hand, if I think that what I'm selling is the best option for them, I will tell them. I'll be like, I think this is the best decision for you. And they'll be like, well, of course you do. You're selling it. I was like, that's not what this is about. Based on what you've told me, based on what you've tried, you've mentioned this, you want to achieve this, you've talked about this. This really is the best thing. So what's holding you back? Like, what is it that makes you feel like this isn't good? Do we have a trust thing, or is it a finance thing, or whatever it is? And then we can start to like really uncover the actual objections that somebody is going through. So yes, that's it. That's how I'd close the sale. If it's low ticket, we just need a whole lot less, honestly. Hey, I got this thing. It does this thing. Would you like it? Okay. That's it. There's also a meme about like the difference between a $500 buyer and like a $5,000 buyer. I don't know if you've seen this meme. I might have the numbers wrong. It might be like 1,000 and 10,000 or 100 and 5,000 or whatever it is. But like 1,000 versus 5,000 or 50,000. We'll do that. And this $500 buyer is typically like, not typically, in the meme, which is sort of based on life. They write this huge thing and they're like, hey, I'm trusting you. This is my last $500 and will this change my life? And I need a full guarantee and promise me this is going to do all these things. And I need access to you all the time. And what's your personal cell phone? And where can I reach you? And da-da-da-da-da-da, and all these things. And then the $5,000 thing is like money sent. Period. And again, there's some truth to this because typically higher ticket buyers, they value time more than money. What they're looking for is like the shortest path to success. Whereas like a lower ticket buyer of like $50, $5, anything like that. Yeah, they want a whole lot more. And a lot of that has to do with different B2C versus B2B markets. That's why I really like B2B. And I'm not a huge fan of B2C markets. Shouldn't say I'm not a huge fan. It's okay. We can talk more about that later. Syed, how can I rewatch this video? It should be there on the channel when all is done. Clark, yes, yeah, PRS, we got that one. We're good. Gerardo. Okay, let me scroll back up because that got super messy. Let's go back to this other horribly messy thing. Gerardo, you work with some method to find brands that you want to find brands you want to reach, like e-commerce with Shopify near me. I'm not sure I fully understand, my friend. I'm not sure I fully understand. Feel free to write it out again for me though, and I'll see if I can figure it out. Question, do you help with resources for fulfilling digital marketing services and agency program like outsourcing services, for example? Yes, 100%. So we have two different ways of doing it inside the program. There is I'm scrolling all over the place here. So service delivery, basically. Cough right into the mic. That's rude. Service delivery. Number one is we have training on how to do it. So it's like how you run Facebook ads, how to run Google ads, SEO, all the trainings that you would need. Basically everything for the software. So the missed call text backs, the customer reactivation, all of that's there. And then we have an outsourcing, hard to write all this out, outsourcing and hiring guide, template, program, framework, for you to do that as well. So my recommendation is do what you want. That's a super fluffy recommendation, but there is no better approach. There's certain parts of marketing that I just love. I think it's super fun and interesting. And all the creative stuff. I like writing copy, designing funnels, offers, things like that. So I tend to do that. And then there's certain things that I outsource for all of my agencies, specifically SEO. I haven't done SEO personally. I know how to do it. I can still go in there and rock a few pages, but like, you're not going to catch me building backlinks or optimizing an on-page thing because there's people that are able to do it for, I don't want to say free, but like so incredibly inexpensive. It doesn't make any sense for me to be doing that with my time. So we outsource it. So yes, all the above. Clark, the headstock. Oh, right on. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes. Good eye. Oh yeah, no, the other one I have over there has the same headstock too. They all do, don't they? Funny, I never even thought about that. Gerardo, how can I know when a brand is low or high ticket to contact for the agency? So I think what you're asking, my friend, is like, how do I know if a business is selling something expensive or something cheap? So there's a couple things you can do, and they're all very simple, and it's just basic market research. You just go to their websites, you look at their social media profiles, you see what they're offering. Also, you can dive into the niche a little bit more, and like certain things are going to be obvious. Like low-end landscaping is going to charge $50 to mow the lawn. High-end landscaping is going to charge $8,000 to install a fountain in your yard. So yes, just a little bit of digging. It's really not that hard. Pranav, what are the top 5 things you would do if you have to start everything from zero? Yeah, I'd do this, dude, honestly. I would. What color have we not used? I don't have purple here as an option. Let's use green. First thing I would do is pick a niche. By far. Like, I got to pick a niche. And most niches are good niches. People blame their niche a lot. It's rarely the niche. Unless you pick something super random and obscure with like no money, we can normally make them work. After I had my niche, I would talk to as many of them as possible. Pick up the phone, call them, chat. What's going on? What do you need help with? How are things going? What about this? I'd use the script we have inside the program so it works a little better than just randomly calling people. And I'd figure out what their biggest pain and problem is. Then while I was on the phone even, I'd make them an offer. Hey, you mentioned your biggest problem is getting initial leads, getting people in the door. If I had a solution that was able to solve that for you, bring in 5 to 10 new customers every single day, would that be valuable to you? Would that be interesting? Would that be something you would want? If they say, yeah, that sounds great, I'd be like, great. How does it sound? Like, what's that worth to you? And then I'd basically pitch them on a sales call. So I'd be like, well, what is 5 to 10 new customers worth to you? If you're selling something for $500, if we brought in 10 new people, if 20% of them bought, so that's 2 new people at $500, so you'd make an extra 1,000 if we did that every day. Say you're open 5 days a week, that's 20 days a month, so you'd make an extra 20 grand. What if I was able to do it for like 10% of that cost, for just 2 grand? I think that worked out. My math was pretty sketchy there, quick. And anyway, we'd have a conversation. I'd try to get an offer. If they said yes or no, yes, I've got some money in my pocket. No, I go back home and I refine my offer. I talk to more people. What do they want? At what price point? What's a customer worth? What's their biggest thing? Then I start putting these things together, my magic pill here. Then once I have that, I start doing all my outreach. I start contacting everybody in that possible niche with my solution and my offer. I offer to get my first few clients for, actually, here's a good one. Scroll again. Doom scroll to the bottom. If you're just getting started and you're super scared and you don't know what to do, I'd take on 0 to 3 clients, maybe 0 to 2. Let's erase that. 0 to 2. 0 to 2 clients for free. Then I'd take on my next, say, 3 to 5 clients at, I'll say 500 to 1,000. Then I'd take on my 5+ clients at, there we go. Why can't I write? Pen's dying. There we go. 5+ clients at like 1,500 plus, 10 clients at 2 grand, 15 clients at 2,500. By the way, this doesn't mean that you're running like an agency with 15 clients. This just means each successive client. So you could do like a couple a month, and if the churn is high or whatever it is, and you need to work on fulfillment and delivery, another story for another day. But I would just keep raising my rates as I was able to do this. And each time I'd be collecting case studies and testimonials. Because then I would be building a massive portfolio and database of proof that I was actually good at what I was doing. Thanos, you got it. Service call, not sales call? Sometimes we call it a sales call. Depends. It depends on the sophistication of the market. Again, this is another topic for another day. Eugene Schwartz talks about this in his 1966 book, Breakthrough Advertising, about how sophisticated your market is. Typically, the more sophisticated, the more heavily marketed they've been to, the less you want to like couch your language with fluffy stuff that they can see right through. So we'll say sales call. But okay, groovy. Ed Nick, you teach that every business should have 3 products and prices: free, cheap, and expensive. 100%. Good for you, Ed Nick. Very impressive. I was just thinking of that this morning. Please categorize the GHL services that could be offered for free and a lead magnet or tripwire. Okay, right on. So yes, I am a big fan of this. I do believe every business should have 3 prices. Free. I don't want to say cheap. I'm going to say core. We'll say paid. And then 3, expensive. So your paid one could be your core offer. This is the main thing that you do. It doesn't have to be cheap. It could actually be very, very expensive, but it's the main thing that you want to sell. Then the free thing is like, what's our tripwire, our lead magnet, anything else we can do. If we're talking about high level explicitly, oh man, there's so many things we could do for free. Like, we could build them some backlinks. We could get them a free website template. We could install miscall text back. We could sign them up for like a customer reactivation campaign. We could set them up with a chat widget on their website. We could set them up with an AI employee that auto responds to SMS. Yeah, the list is basically endless. I like the one that's going to be the most relevant and specific to your market. We can do free marketing audits. That's my favorite, actually. We use that a lot. So it's like the GHL prospecting audit, where we can just put in a client's business and then it spits out this super fancy pants report that we can make a Loom video of and send it to them. Those things work well. We convert a lot with that. All right, Samuel, what sources and metrics do you use to narrow down a good niche, and what are the number ranges? I use Google Trends, want a minimum 17. Oh, woo, hang on one sec. Haha, look at that, backup camera. That one apparently is about to light on fire. So we'll come over here. Let's pull, actually we don't need the iPad for this one. What sources and metrics do you use to narrow down a good niche? We've got a full one on this one for you, my friend, inside the program. I won't go into it right now, not because I don't want to, but because I don't want to say all the wrong things when I've got all the info inside the Nail Your Niche checklist. But it's going to go over things like basically the competition and the size. Are they in need? Is it a growing industry? Lots more things like that. And that'll help make it really clear on a good niche for you to take a look at. Taylor, thank you, Adam, for the amazing program. Best thing I've done to help me grow the business. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, my friend. I'm also proud of you for taking all of that massive imperfect action and crushing things and getting things done. So keep it up. You're doing phenomenal. Such good things ahead for you. All right, Tyler, Adam, trying to optimize my Google business profile, struggling to think of pictures to use for my profile. What do you recommend for this? First of all, pictures of you are always good. Make sure they're like as professional as possible. You want to try to embody and represent what your ideal client avatar looks like. So if they wear like a golf shirt, wear a golf shirt. If they wear a dress shirt, wear a dress shirt. If they wear overalls or coveralls, wear coveralls or overalls, or like as close as possible. So they're like, he's just like me. The second thing is hero shots. So any kind of image that shows the finished product or the outcome or the end state or the desired result. In many cases, we call these like lifestyle shots, but I like those less than like the hero shots. So for example, like a marketing agency one, I shouldn't even say that. Like the Agency Accelerator program, we use a lot of just like classic digital marketing kind of stuff and a lot of shots of me on, I'm a pretty simple dude. But when I take a fancy pants vacation with my family, we try to remember to like take some shots because they're going to be beneficial to show. If we stay in like a fancy house, we try to remember to take some shots or do a video or anything like that because we're showing the end state of like, hey, if you do things right, this is what's possible. So same basic thing, really. We want to find images that are inspiring and relatable. The big thing is like, we want to be cautious of not showing anything that's not inspiring and not relatable or ridiculous. Case in point, when I first started my agency, I've told this story so many times, but forgive me if you've heard it before. When I first started my agency, I remember seeing all of these offers for like, here's how to grow a 7-figure agency. Here's how to make $100,000 a month. Here's how to make $500,000 a month. Here's how to make these inordinate amounts of money. And I remember writing all of them off. I was like, you are full of garbage. That is not true. That is impossible. Now, of course, I had a limited mindset because I'd never seen or been around people making that kind of money before. But I wrote it off. Then somebody came along and they were like, hey, here's how to make 10 grand a month in your agency. You only need 4 clients at 2,500 or 10 clients at 1,000. And here's a way to do that. And I was like, I can do that. That sounds doable. And then the beauty is like, once you do that, then you start getting introduced to people that are making 300 grand a year, and then 700 grand a year, and then $1 million a year, and then 200 grand a month, and then 300 grand a month. And then your paradigm shifts a little bit. And then we've got to tweak our language in that. But yes, that's a good place to start. And then I think the only other thing for Google Business Profiles is more is more. So use more if you can. More photos, more info, more everything like that. If it's a local area and you're trying to rank as well for a local area, then take your, I'm not sure if Android phones do this as well, but like your iPhone, go to the location where you want to appear. So like it could be your office or it could be the downtown core of wherever it is. And you can take photos there and then upload them directly. And they'll be meta tagged with like the location information data stored there, which arguably, debatably helps with some of the SEO and ranking factors. We found it to be the case. I don't have any proof and quantitative, but it's so easy to do. It just doesn't hurt. All right. The time has come. My voice is gone for today. Great questions as always, everyone. Thanks for dealing with the malfunctions. I'm going to go put an ice pack on that camera and hopefully salvage the battery before the office goes up in flames. Otherwise, I appreciate you all. So great to see all of you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.